Boxing King Media in association with Boxro. Sam Jones, thank you for joining me late on a Saturday night. Hope you're good, Sam. How's things?
I'm very well, mate. How are you?
I'm good. I saw you causing a huge stir last night on social media. A bit of a taboo subject. I'll quickly touch on it because I know you did an interview yesterday where you spoke about it, but just touch on it again. Obviously, the boxing got called off Friday and Saturday night, small old shows Friday, and then obviously we had the Marshall Sheilds fight called off tonight. Obviously, you was deadly against it, and I noticed. I'm no expert, but I saw the cricket went on. What do you make of that? Because you're a man of sport. Surely the cricket's been allowed, but why wasn't the boxing allowed?
Just my problem yesterday was I still like. I was confident yesterday when I did the interview on Boxing Social yesterday. I was confident that. Listen, I'm not like a super educated person. Did okay at school, just okay. I like the royal family and I respect the royal family. Yeah.
Likewise.
But there's just no way on earth that any sporting events should have been cancelled, because it doesn't help any situation. It doesn't make any situation like that. Like, how is, like, they even stopped like the Met Office like doing weather reports. Like, how is that honouring the Queen? It's just insane, mate. Like, it really was insane.
Is it worth mentioning, because the instructions are that it's down to the individual governing body. So it was a
yeah, for sure. Like, people don't get this twisted. I wasn't as much as the government let this country down on a regular basis. It was nothing to do with the government. It wasn't a government decision. That's what like made it hurt just a little bit more, because boxing is like, listen, even cancelling the football was crazy because it brings happiness to people's lives. And all you're going to do is, and I don't want to get political into it because, like yesterday, I'm not intelligent enough to go into politics, but people that say don't particularly care for the royal family, it's just going to make them even more. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just so unnecessary to stop. You can celebrate the Queen's unbelievable 70-year iconic reign by celebrating her through sport. And I saw something like a report saying some of the reasons why the Premier League, so the FA cancelled football, was because they were worried about some potentially people being disrespectful. Now, when football gets picked back up again, they're 100% going to do a tribute to the Queen. So that makes the decision even more ridiculous. You understand what I'm saying? I just don't get it. You're always going to get a minority of people that are disrespectful, because that's the world we live in. But the vast majority of people will show respect. They will sing the national anthem. And going to the female boxing event, the iconic all-female boxing card that was meant to take place today. And I don't want to come across like a broken record, because I know I've been banging on, but listen, you wanted an interview with me, and I'm just going to repeat what I've said. Tonight would have been an amazing celebration of the Queen's life. Do you understand what I mean? When the broadcast was starting, I'm sure Sky, they're an enormous company. They would have done an unbelievable tribute. And I just think there's something unbelievable about the fact that it's an all-female card. It's a Queen that's reigned for 70 years. And it could have been so empowering for the national anthem to be played and ringing out loud in a packed O2 arena. And I think they've dropped a serious ball by not letting that go ahead. But that's other reasons. My other reasons is the fact that boxing is not like other sports. It's just not. If Clarissa or Savannah get injured in the next few weeks, that fight's off. Yeah, the card's off. The card's scuppered. And that huge payday that they were both getting has gone. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's temporary or if it's now, but it's gone. Boxing is not like other sports. Like some of the girls on the card, they may have to like book time off work. They may have had to book time off work. Camps are so expensive, and I can say this from experience. Yeah, from great.
What you said there, Ebony Jones, and she told me she's a PT on the side. So I mean, she's kind of funding her boxing career by PTing.
Yeah, and this is my thing. It's not just that; it's the fact that she's booked time off work. She's dropped. I'm sure she's postponed. She's told clients she can't train them at certain times. That's lost money. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot of people are like, oh, it's just they'll just put it back a month. It's not just a month. They have to then go back into camp, peak again, get their diet back. It's just honestly like they don't understand. Like my experience is like
the decision was made by the boxing board. Obviously,
yeah.
Robert Smith's the person I'm thinking of. Like I was at the press conference when the news broke of the Queen's health, and the rumors, everyone was kind of saying more than likely the show will be off, but it still took them 2 days after that to decide that. But surely Robert Smith knows how the boxing industry works. Obviously, it's a big decision on his shoulders. So
yeah, and that's what I will say. Yeah, I respect Robert Smith massively. Yeah, but the fight should have been, if that was the decision they were going to make, it should have been the day before. Don't let them dehydrate themselves and starve themselves throughout that. It's just like, listen, I could talk about it for ages, and the decision was made, but it's the wrong decision. And ultimately as well, I saw a load of interviews, like a few interviews yesterday of people just like not telling the truth, like saying, oh yes, it's the correct thing to do to stop the show. No, it's not. And those people that were interviewed like should know better, because they work in this industry and they know. Some of them were ex-fighters, and they should know how hard it is for a fighter to.
Who are you talking about?
I don't need to go into who we're talking about. Anybody that said, I'll say it like this. I don't need to name drop people. I'm telling you, anybody that said that it was right for that show to be cancelled, I'm directing this at you.
Okay.
Simple. It's as simple as that. Anybody that says that the show was rightfully pulled down, I'm directing this at you. Simple as that. I don't need to like get into petty name dropping. Like you saw my interview yesterday.
Just opinions, isn't it? Is it worth mentioning? Obviously, Sam, you're not being disrespectful. You're basically trying to highlight how difficult it is for boxers.
I'm not. Mate, this is what I mean. Like
it's worth mentioning, pointing that out.
You see me, I get very mixed comments and reviews on my interviews, because I'm like, I don't know like what it is, but like I'm a genuine person. If something's shit, I'll say it's shit. If something's great, I'll say it's great, and that's a fact. Anybody that knows me on a personal level know that's me. I said what I said yesterday on that interview, and the vast majority of people agreed with me. And that's just, and even the people that like don't like me were saying it's true, because I believed in what I was saying. I am not disrespectful to the royal family. Like what I said on the interview yesterday, there is nobody that sings a national anthem louder than me. I'm very proud. Do you know what I mean of the fact we've got a royal family? But it's just, but what I'm not, I don't like is bullshit decisions, and it was a bullshit decision to stop football, boxing. Like, can you imagine the national anthem being played out like it was at the EC?
I saw the cricket one.
The cricket today, it was special. It was special, and that's been taken from football. And I don't know whether, I'm not going to just say, oh, it's a working class sport, but boxing and football are working class sports, and they were the ones that have got scuppered. Do you understand what I mean? It was like taken away from them. Honestly, you can't imagine how special the event would have been tonight, with an all-female card, with a national anthem blazing around the O2. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but it would have been special. It would have been iconic, and it would have been the best tribute to Queen Elizabeth. It really would have.
Can you imagine Savannah even ring walking to the national anthem?
Can you imagine? Can you just imagine? And that's what would have happened, something like that. But it would have been so special in there tonight, and it's been taken away. It has been absolutely taken away, and wrongly. And I just want, this is what I mean, like with people, sometimes people are like a bit worried. Like I saw them yesterday, like and this is, and no problem, like no problem, like if you're worried about the backlash, but just don't blatantly lie when you're in the business, and you know the business, how hard it is for these people to make weight, how financial sacrifices, personal sacrifices, time away from families. Don't say you agree with the decision when it's the wrong decision. Anybody, and I honestly think that you're nuts if you would think that That is the correct
I'm
decision.
assuming Ben Shalom will be seriously out of pocket as well, all the hotel
Ben
costs.
Shalom, listen, let me tell you, I can tell you this straight away. Ben Shalom did not want to cancel that event. No, no fucking way did Ben Shalom want to cancel that. He has done his nuts on that event. Floating boat on the Thames with public workouts and stuff, huge press, PR, everything. That event was like, it was being spoken about everywhere. They'd done a listen,
It was
hats off to
amazing.
them all.
I
They've
was on
done a
that boat,
great
and
job.
it was probably one of the best media work, in fact, the best media work I've been to on a boat.
Yeah, yeah. And listen, all credit to them. And all that hard work, yeah, and that's money they won't get back as well. So all it was is just a load of money down the toilet. And it's just it's just such a dated thing to do, to cancel events, to honor the late queen. Like, no, the best way you honor her is by going through with it and showing how much she
And
meant to a lot of people.
That's the key point, Sam. You're basically saying she should have been honored with the events going on and people remembering her during the event, rather than just not having an event and everyone just sat at home.
Exactly, because now all we've been done, all that's happened now is we've been forced to be miserable. This weekend, been forced to be miserable unnecessarily. Do you know what I mean? Everybody. Her funeral is going to be a huge thing. Do you know what I mean? A huge thing that everyone's going to pay their respects to. It's going to be a special occasion. Do you know, we've got a new king. Like, we don't need to sit here and just stare into space. Do you know what I mean? All week, and like, to cancel events. Listen, I'm going too deep into it, but it's a ridiculous decision.
It definitely, Sam. You just mentioned the king there. Obviously, you've seen videos today on Twitter. The same people are probably saying, "Yeah, events should be getting cancelled," are slating him for asking somebody to move a bit of ink to the side. Do you know what I mean? So people on social media, you can't argue with them.
Yeah, listen. It's Twitter, especially. It's a cesspit, mate. But yeah, I saw that video and I commented.
It's done 1 million views. People, a guy asking somebody to move the ink.
I commented on it. He's probably not slept for over 24 hours, hungry, tired, and he's lost his mother. Like, give the guy a break. Give the guy a break. It's ridiculous. But fake outrage, there's so much of it nowadays. There's fake outrage. Everyone wants to be outraged with something. And that's just the world we live in, mate.
Definitely, Sam. Let's move on to the boxing, man. We had a good rant there. I want to start off with your guy, Sonny Edwards. Everyone thought he was fighting Martinez. October 22nd was a date floated around, and now he appears to be in limbo with no date. And now rumors that he could be fighting a mandatory. What platform is it going to be on? There's rumors I saw today that he could be on a Matchroom show. Could you update us? What's going on with Sonny and who's to blame for it?
There'll be some news very soon on Sonny Edwards' next opponent. He will be fighting very soon. He's in camp now. That fight I wasn't involved in the negotiations, but I know full well that Sonny agreed to absolutely every term that was given to him. And this is fully that side, not Sonny's side, as to the reason why the fight's not happening. That's just a fact. Martinez's team, I don't know whether it was his team or whatever, but that side didn't want the fight.
Some conversation must have gone on with Eddie Hearn, because obviously Eddie's presented Sonny with a contract which he's signed, which I'm assuming he's then drafted across to Martinez.
I've not heard back. From my knowledge, I've not heard back. It's just they're moving on to something else, and Sonny's got a mandatory now to take care of.
And do we know if that'll be in the UK, or obviously you can't reveal what platform it'll be on?
News, honestly, news very, very soon. Very, very soon on Sonny's next fight.
Interesting. And whilst we're on the subject, obviously, Probellum, seen advertising going out for an event in October, I believe. One of my favourite fighters, Big Uzbek, is coming to the UK.
Yeah, Big Jalalov, he will be on his way to Liverpool to show the UK what he's all about. He is a dangerous man. I cannot wait to see Jalalov on British soil.
Have we got any date confirmation in regards to that, or
that'll be announced this week?
All right,
early part of next week.
What kind of opponent would you get for somebody like him? Because I'm guessing he's going to be a nightmare to match.
Matching Jalalov it brings me back to when I had to start matching Joe Joyce early on. Nobody wants to fight him, and rightfully so, because he's more than likely going to knock you out. I'd put Jalalov in with
Anyone really?
Outside the top 4, 5, I'd put him up in with any of them.
Interesting. So news is that next week. Do we know what TV, whether it'll be on a TV platform or is all that going to be revealed next week?
It's all to come. All to come.
I also want to get your opinion on this AJ Fury saga. Obviously, with the news of the Queen breaking out, I think it all kind of went quiet. But on that day, I think the Thursday, Frank Warren gave Matchroom and Eddie Hearn 24 hours to accept a deal, which, speaking to people, is quite unrealistic for a fight of that magnitude. But
Yeah,
because you normally get rumors and gossip.
I've heard that the talks are actually going very well.
Wow.
Between both teams. I've heard the talks are actually going really well. I think from AJ's side, from what I know, they don't believe. They think it's basically a bluff from Team Fury, and they believe that it's a smokescreen to lure Usyk out to fight him in December. So we'll see what happens. But as much as I want to see the undisputed fight, I would much rather see Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua next. I just would, because I know how big it is for this country. And if it happens in this country, it is it's a monster of a fight. It really is. Don't get me wrong. I want to see the undisputed fight, but Tyson Fury can fight Usyk next or Joshua next because the British public will demand it. Do you know what I mean? Tyson, like what I said to people before, like, oh, has Tyson retired? Tyson hasn't. I knew he didn't retire. I absolutely knew he wasn't going to retire because he loves boxing. It's his life. It's all he knows. And I believe that Tyson will go on to fight for a fair while, for quite a bit more of a while longer.
You said that you've heard the talks are going really well, so you obviously know something. Could you tell us a little bit?
I said
more?
well. I said
Well,
they're going well.
that's good. That's better than no talks.
Yeah.
Do you think it will get made? What's your gut feeling?
I don't want to put out false information, but all I know is that both teams are talking, and talks are going well. Talks are going well. AJ's agreed the split, so there's a huge start, because before it was like who deserves what. That was always a major stumbling block in the negotiations. There will be a rematch clause. As you can imagine, of a fight, it's a mandatory. It's not a mandatory defense from Tyson Fury. It's a voluntary. But yeah, listen, I don't want to say, oh, I'm hopeful of the fight, because you just never know in boxing. You never know in boxing. It's like Crawford against Spence. Like, we've been waiting for that fight for years. Like, is that fight going to get made? Who knows? Who knows? But the talks are going well. So
that's
let's see.
A good source that you've got. I'm hoping.
Yeah, it's decent.
I'm trying my best to squeeze it out of you, but
decent source.
That's good.
I know both sides. I know Tyson Fury well. I don't know AJ. Well, I know AJ, but I know his team very well. I'm very good friends of his with Freddie and KD, and yeah, I would say I've got a decent relationship, a good relationship with both sides.
Interesting. I want to also get your thoughts on Barry McGUIGAN. I interviewed him last week. I put the interview out earlier today, and it's gone crazy. It's done like 50 odd K views in a couple of hours, and people are kind of backing him for what he said. He was quite brutal in his comments, basically saying AJ needs to sack the whole lot of them.
Yeah, I watched it.
In short, he's basically saying you should get rid of everyone other than Robert Garcia. What do you make of them comments?
It depends who he means. Like, if he means his management team, listen, managing Anthony Joshua when he comes out of the Olympics is an easy job. Yeah, it is. It's an easy job. He's a good-looking Olympic gold medalist that talks very well and can seriously fight. But they have played a huge part in his success. He's a multi-millionaire, very successful man, and he's got a team of people that he trusts. If Barry means his coaching side, I agree with him. Don't employ Robert Garcia and not have the full thing. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be Robert Garcia, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? And if AJ has a certain cut man that he likes, then fair enough. But when it comes to trainer, it has to be Robert Garcia. This is a multi-time world title winning trainer. So I agree with his comments. There. You can't, it's like, I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with great trainers, Hall of Fame trainers, Abel Sanchez, Ismail Salas. None of those trainers would accept being second fiddle or someone else coming in with them. Do you understand what I mean? It's there. This is their show.
Do you think for AJ, loyalty plays quite a bit? Because obviously we're referring to Angel Fernandez here, and do you think because he employed him at the start, he doesn't?
This is what I mean. I respect Angel. I like him, but if AJ wants to train with Angel Fernandez, yeah, train with Angel Fernandez and only Angel Fernandez, yeah. But don't bring Robert Garcia in and have Angel Fernandez there as well. It's got to be one or the other, in my opinion. It really has. So if he's employed Robert Garcia, a countless amount of world title winning coach, then that's your guy, you understand? But if it's not, if you don't trust him, bring Robert McGUIGAN back or bring Angel Fernandez back. But I don't buy all of that. AJ needs to really make some serious decisions, because I don't believe he's got a load of team of backslappers, as they call it, and yes men. But I do agree with Barry when he said that he needs to be told the truth. Do you understand what I mean? He needs to be told like some harsh truths.
Where do you think these comments come from? Because it tends to be a lot of the old school trainers that keep using them. Was that Dominic Ingles?
I think what he was referring to. Listen,
Dominic said the same.
I don't want to put words into McGuigan's mouth what he was referring to, but I think what he meant was, I think there was an interview afterwards with Angel, and Angel was saying that he would beat him like a third time, or we would have won this, and like I think a lot of people just kind of cut that out. Do you know what I mean? Back to basics. Cut that out. Stop telling him what he wants. I know Spencer Oliver's words with AJ got an absolute hammering, but I felt a little bit for Spencer, because Spencer was just trying to kind of, you could see the guy was like falling, was in bits. But
I filmed that, and I spoke to Spencer afterwards, because I worded an epic speech, because I felt it was inspirational, and being there, seeing how AJ was, that's how I took it. But obviously he got torn apart on Twitter.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, I think that's what people mean. Like he's being told too much, like what he wants to hear, not what he kind of needs to hear. I get that, but listen, I don't know AJ on a personal level. Like, I really don't, but I know David does. KD does. He knows him better than like anybody. Do you know what I mean? He's got AJ trusts a team of people around him, but I do think that there does need to be changes to be made, especially like with his coaching situation. It's either got to be one or the other. And listen,
I can say, like when they have said backslappers, because I was in the same hotel as AJ in Saudi. These guys that you're talking about, KD and Will and all these that are around,
good guys.
They don't train him. They just manage everything outside the box.
Correct.
Angel and Robert Garcia. That's it.
Yeah. Listen, I've met Angel a few times. I like Angel. Listen, he's clearly doing something right. He's holding pads and giving instructions to a former unified heavyweight champion.
Richard Riakporhe as well.
Yeah, so he trains Fraser Clark, Richard Riakporhe. He's doing a great job. So he must be doing something right. But what I'm saying is, if AJ is bringing in Robert Garcia, that tells me that he doesn't probably fully trust Angel. Do you understand what I mean? Because if you do, you just let Angel train you. So that's what I'm saying. AJ needs to make a decision. Angel Garcia is my guy. Angel Fernandez is my guy. He's training me. That's my guy. But if not, you move Angel to one side and you bring in Robert Garcia. You go and train with Robert Garcia in America, and you do it the right way. You don't go and train in Loughborough University, chasing university students around for giving you some shit in a hallway. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't need that. He needs to do what, like I said before, I've suggested this to AJ's team. I've suggested this to KD. You take him to Big Bear. No one cares about Anthony Joshua in Big Bear. No one cares about anything in Big Bear. No one cares who you are, where you are. Go and train in Big Bear and do a camp there. There's 2 gyms. There's Abel Sanchez's gym that I'm sure they could reach out and they could use his gym. I know Golovkin's back training there again. Use that gym. Go and train there. And I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think Robert Garcia trains in Ontario.
No, Riverside. I've been to his gym, Riverside. It's middle of nowhere. It's a beautiful place as well.
Is it Ontario?
No, Riverside, Riverside, California.
But it's not too. It's not. I think it's
about an hour from like Hollywood. Nice town, middle of nowhere, and his gym's back.
I'm sure Robert Garcia's gym is like it's Big Bear is an hour up. You a couple of hours up. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, from Big Bear. Yeah, it's about 2.5 hours from Big Bear.
Big Bear's 2.5 hours from anywhere. It's like up in the mountains. But what I'm saying is AJ should be well away from all the bullshit. He shouldn't be training and living in a student accommodation. He should be going to America and training with Robert Garcia. That's just my opinion, but that is only my opinion. Opinions are like arseholes, mate. We've all got one.
And on the final note on that, how do you think it must be for Angel as an individual? Because he must be seeing people like Dominic Ingle, I think Joe Gallagher,
hard.
All the experienced trainers saying you shouldn't be part of that team, and it can't be easy on a young guy.
The thing is, the way you get experience is kind of learning on the job. But AJ don't need that now. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's 32 years old. He's been fighting at the absolute highest level. But listen, I don't agree with people like calling for someone's kind of head, basically, and kind of scapegoating. Oh, it's just Angel Fernandez. But listen, AJ is not an idiot, yeah, and he obviously rates Angel Fernandez. But that's what I'm saying is, if you trust Angel, then make Angel your coach. But if not, you have to go one or the other. Angel can't be giving instructions while Robert Garcia is trying to give instructions. Do you understand? It's got to be one or the other. There can't be too many cooks in a kitchen. There's only got to be one chef.
On that note, I think but we'll leave it at that. I appreciate your time, Sam, as always, and hopefully boxing's back soon on Probellum. You got news coming out next week, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Right, great. Unless you want to add anything else, Sam?
I don't, mate. No, don't know to add anything else. Have a great weekend. Yeah, I'll be watching reruns of Peppa Pig with my son for the rest of the weekend.
Right, enjoy Peppa Pig.